Hello, hello. It is me from the future. It is me from the future because when I'm saying this right now, I'm not live yet because we're on a delay today. But no, welcome to the stream, everybody. I'm guessing when this is live, people are already going to be in chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Assemble for the rare Friday night stream. Because we are indeed playing the Challenger Cup summer finale today. The summer season of the Challenger Cup is over, and I did manage to qualify for the finals, which is a top 128 bracket, basically, right? So it's kind of like, you know, if I lose, the stream ends pretty much, because right off the bat it's going to be knockout, top 128 players, and you know, single elimination. When you lose, you're out. And we're just gonna see how well I can do. We are on a little bit of a delay because I did wanna make sure to avoid stream sniping as much as possible. First of all, because I want to try and do as best as I can in the tournament, but also because I think gameplay is significantly worse when my opponent gets to see my hand. So I just want to avoid that. I think it's set to 10 minutes. I think I just left the settings on the exact same that it was during the Worlds qualifiers. It worked fine during the Worlds qualifiers, so it should be fine now. Yeah, all that it means is, you know, when you ask me something in chat, it's going to take a while for me to actually see it, or until, well, actually I'll see it right away, but it's going to take a while until you hear a potential answer. So chat interaction is going to be a little bit off during the stream, but I think it's fine because I do want to focus on doing as well as I can anyways. So I'm going to try to focus less on chat and more try to focus on the game. Kind of similar to what we did during the Worlds qualifiers, and then people really enjoyed that stream, so I thought, you know, why not just do it for this tournament? I could have played it off stream to avoid all of this, but I think it's actually quite good content if I try and focus on the games and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's going to be the stream for today. I need to wait until the stream is actually live for me to like tweet and everything, but that's in like 2.5 minutes or something. All right, so the bracket for the thing has already been uploaded. Let me see if I can show you real quick before it starts, because it starts from my current time 6 minutes. It starts at 7 p.m. Central European Standard Time. We got a 128 player bracket. We are, where are we? Here. We are seed number 69. Nice. And we're going to be playing against Nameless Dude 13 in the first round. And we're going to see how we can do. The format for this thing, by the way, is quite interesting because it's best of 3, but you can swap decks after every game. And you can just play whatever you want after every game. So there's quite a lot of mind gaming going on there, which is interesting. But the only caveat is you have to have all of your decks built beforehand. So I can show you what I did before we hop right now. I have more than 5 minutes left to explain. Okay, so what I did is I prepared Master Duel load. Hello. Okay, there we go. I prepared a bunch of different lists. Of some of them are like the same decks but slightly different, so I can adjust, right? Because I have to have all of my lists built before the event starts. So I have all these different decks here. They are all no name and no preview cards, so that, I don't know, just so that people don't see what I'm picking, right? Like whenever I switch decks or whatever, so people can't like watch the stream and see all the decks that I have, all the options I have available. It's whatever. Whenever in between games, I'm gonna have to go into full cam really quick to check which deck is which, and then pick one for the next upcoming game. But basically, I spend a little bit of time today preparing a bunch of different lists for different scenarios. You know, like for when it's game 1 and I don't know if I'm gonna win the coin flip, or when it's game 2 and I will get to, like, when I lose game 1, I get to choose whether I want to go first or second in game 2. So I have a couple lists prepared for that. I have a couple lists prepared for when my opponent gets to choose whether to go first or second, so on and so forth. You get the deal. So yeah, I put a decent amount of effort into this, which is why I do want to try hard as much as I can. But theoretically, if we lose in the first round, the stream is gonna end very soon. So yeah, if we lose early, then I mean, so be it. I just enjoy the process of preparing for things like this and taking it seriously. So it should be fun either way. But yeah, okay, the stream is live now, so let me quickly make a tweet about that. And also on the Discord server. And let me quickly double check that it's working. It is working. Okay, and I see people in chat already. Okay, nice. Welcome, welcome everybody. From 10 minutes in the future. Yeah, okay. So it is 6:56 right now. Which means we start in 4 minutes. We start in 4 minutes. The way it works is it's all managed through a Discord where they post your pairings and they give you a room. So we have to join this room. Let me just make sure I don't leak the code just in case they don't want that. Let me just go into full cam while I'm entering the room. I don't know if they want this to be public or not. So let me just enter the room. Jinzo28, thank you for the 11 months. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. You're gonna see that in 10 minutes, but thank you. And 3D Pork Chops as well. Thank you for the 6 months. All right, okay, I've entered the room. I'm gonna pick a deck for game 1. Let me see what I have. What do I want to play? Well, first game of the thing. It's got to be this, right? Yeah, it's got to be this. All right, we got the deck for the first game. I am here. All right. All right. So, and we start in about 2 minutes. We start in about 2 minutes. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, there's going to be less talking during the games. Like I said earlier, we're probably just going to, focus. I'll try to talk through my thought process, but whenever there's like much thinking going on or like complicated turns happening, I'll probably just play it out and then maybe talk about it after. That's at least the idea. That is at least the idea. We'll see how it goes. There is always a decent amount of variance going on when you're playing. Of course, like it's immediately single elimination, and in order to win the entire thing, 128 players, you need to win 7 matches in a row, which is quite something. They are all best of 3s though, so not too bad. Not too bad, but it's Master Duel. It's the Max C game. We'll just try to enjoy our time. We'll just try hard and enjoy the process. And if we lose in top 128, we lose in top 128. It is what it is. Schmidt, thank you for the 2 months. All right, it is about a minute from now that we start. Round number 1, game number 1. I'm just waiting for 7 p.m. so that we start game 1. And now it is 7. All right. Begin. And let me open the timer in another tab. And there. All right. Good luck, have fun to the opponent. We lose the first coin flip of the Challenger Cup Finals. That's all right. This is one of the reasons why I queued Pearly game 1, because I think it is one of the better decks when you don't know whether you're going to be able to go first or second. Uh, 40 cards, Prosperity, I mean, could be a lot of things. Most likely Cash or Pearly, we're about to see. Geist. They blind queued Geist in game 1. That is interesting. That is truly an interesting decision. All right. Okay. Gonna start with a stray Pearly Street. And I think... What do I normal summon? Pearly or Pearlily? Pearly for the guaranteed ad, maybe? Pearlily... I think it's Pearlily. Strike. Okay. Gonna have to chain this here, otherwise we can't activate it. Discard a card, yes. Anima does not run over the thing. Thrust. I mean, I'll probably be able to activate Thrust, right? We have to go another Lily here. Because if we go for Pearly and we miss, it's a disaster. They activate Faker, we Ash. We rank up into Beauty. I can just attack the Faker. And then, but the thing is, that makes my Thrust live. That makes my Thrust live, but I cannot add with it because the Faker will be gone. I can attach this to the Beauty. I mean, I'll attack the Faker either way. Faker is gone. I can Thrust to set Leap. But then I wouldn't be making Zeus. Do I need to make Zeus here? I don't really do. I can just make... I can set Leap. End phase attach Sleepy. Sleepy draw, rank up into a Noir. Yeah, let's do that. They haven't ashed. If they had ashed my pretty memory, I would have passed it. But they couldn't know that. They could not know that. In this case, two options. I can just pass like this. I can pass like this, which gets me a draw. But that also makes it so that I mean, I have a 1600 beauty that floats. 1600 beauty that floats with a negate versus a Zeus. I could attach the secret village to my beauty. I'll leave it. Going to attach delicious memory. Okay, we can do something cool here. Or like cool. The one card I'm worried about is a Solemn Strike. If I were to attach with this, what I can do is I can Happy Memory the beauty beforehand. That way, even if they do have a strike, it will not be destroyed. And for that to work, I cannot chain this. So I just use it here. Pitch this. Summon Lily. Lily effect. Add my friend. Now I can activate the effect. Send this. Target this. Arma Cannon. That's fine. We can still flip. We still attach even. Flip. Activate. Yeah, this game one's over. Long story short. But there's nothing we need here. It is genuinely irrelevant. I guess we just take whatever. Like, it literally doesn't matter. I could probably even OTK. Maybe I can OTK. I don't need to. I am simply not going to bother. Yeah, I'll just punch them. I'm gonna leave this because it might be annoying for them. So this is unaffected, and it is also safe from Herald of the Abyss because we have another quick play spell. Actually, we might be out of lilies. Oh yeah, we're out of. Are we out of lilies? We are out of lilies. It's not safe from Herald of the Abyss, but Herald of the Abyss, they can't use it right now. First of all, I guess the worst thing here is a kaiju. That could happen. That's a fat cat. All right. That was scary when they just went first with Altergeist and Secret Village, but their opener was not that crazy because they didn't have a normal summon. That was the one thing. If they had a normal summon, we probably would have lost this. Thank God. That would have been one hell of a start. Okay. All right. Let me. Let me go face cam and think about what I switch to here. I mean, if they're queuing this deck blind, I have a hard time imagining what they're queuing when they know that they get to go first. Surely it's the same deck again, right? Surely it's the same deck again. It looks like, I mean, it's funny because round one and I'm not super prepared for this. If they know they get to go first, what will they pick? If they pick the same deck again, what do I need? That's the thing. I like most of my going second decks that I prepared are a lot of spell cards, which is why I'm scared with the secret village. I'm gonna pick this. This is a very interesting choice that I did not think I would make, but here we are. And they do want to go first, is what they said. They do want to go first. So even if we win here, we have to let them start. They win anyways. Yeah, and this is what I picked because I wasn't like, if they bring the same deck, I need a deck with traps. I can't play a spell heavy deck, so I just picked lab, the lab build that I had prepared with the most hand trap, and it is freaking Altergeist again. I do think this is the best thing to imperm. Faker does not trigger on your opponent's trap cards, does it? I should have maybe checked this beforehand. If you activate a trap card, no, okay. Three sets. I kind of want regular. Blue Clock is an interesting pickup. Is the card Faker? Card is Faker. So activate welcome. Summon what? Lovely? They're just gonna bounce it. Silk. I can outplay Silk because I can set here and activate. It needs to be this because it's untargetable. Maybe should have coup clocked beforehand. Maybe should have coup clocked beforehand, so this was live immediately. Could be. Okay. They have to target this. And now, are you targeting it again? Target up to 2 monsters your opponent controls. Banish them until the end phase. Um... I think I said a punishment here. Punishment goes crazy. Here. I think it has to be that. Punishment. Ledger book. Activate. Activate lady to summon again. Summon limit. I've already summoned twice, so we won't. Okay. This is fine. I think we should be okay here. Activate Coup Clock, activate Chandelier. Pitching Lady, Coup Clock comes back into my hand. Coup Clock comes back into my hand. I mean, I definitely activate the Chandelier. The question is, do I activate Coup Clock first? But then I lose my Lady. I don't think so. I think I just do this. And pitch the Coup Clock. I don't need it right now. Big welcome. Set Daruma. As. Let me think in draw phase here. Silk would return a different card. Would return Faker to hand, which I think I can just punishment the Silk. And if they chain it, that's fine. I do not believe that this deck outgrinds my deck. I simply do not believe it. Yeah, it does not matter what they target here. They target the Daruma Karma Cannon, which is fine. I'm not going to chain it. Yes, I'm not going to chain it. I am going to send this. I don't need to pop this summon limit. This summon limit is good for me, if anything, right now. Alright, so chain 1. Chain 2. Honestly, I want them to ash this. If anything, I want them to ash this Garura. Yep. I just hope I don't draw Lovely here. Okay. Let me toggle on. Summon this. But I am not going to do anything else yet. Faker, Marionetter, one other card. Normal summons Marionetter. Irrelevant this turn. Irrelevant this turn. I just didn't want to shotgun the Lovely snipe, because if I hit the Faker, they can actually go Marionetter, revive the Faker. I don't want to do that. That was yeah. This is okay. Because now they're locked out of summons for the rest of this turn. This does nothing. Like, this is fine. This can go. Silk is here. Faker is in hand. If they set another card, I can just snipe the Faker out of their hand. Okay, so we're gonna go big welcome. We're gonna chain this game's over. Okay, chain lovely. Set honestly whatever. An imperm into the summon limit column. Big welcome is going to summon out a lovely here. Bounce this. Trigger this. If I just pop their back row, they have no trap card. Destroy a card in your opponent's hand. No. Pop this thing. Still activate Chandelier. Pitch the Ruma Karma Cannon. We don't need it. Said welcome Labyrinth. Activate Coup Clock. We have to add it to hand because summon limit. That does not matter though. Don't need to do this right now. Activate this. Activate Welcome Lab. Summon Ariana. Use the effect to pop Silk. Ariana wants to draw here. Lovely wants to snipe. And Chandelier wants to add back. This is 45. Yeah. Silk adds back the thingy here, it doesn't matter. Chandelier back to hand. Lady destroys in hand. This draws. And I just summon out this. And that's enough. Okay. GG's. Bup. All right. Did not expect Altergeist. Did not expect Altergeist, but that definitely happened. That definitely happened. But we do move on to top 64. We do move on to top 64. I did not expect to queue Labyrinth going second in this tournament ever, but here we are. First round, we already have some interesting stuff going on. But yeah. We already have a next opponent, but I don't think we are allowed to play. I think everyone waits. Yeah, we have to wait for the end of the round. They just told us in the thingy. Yeah. We do have to wait for the end of the round, which is, let me see. First round is, it's 45 minutes per round, which means this round still takes 20. Okay, so we got some time to kill. I can thank some subs in the meantime. We did get some subs that I'm sorry I didn't pay that much attention to because I was trying to play. Acunum, thank you for the 17 months. Dark Soul, thank you for the 5. Lolo, thank you for the Prime. Appreciate you. Relapse Dota, thank you for the 3. Claire, thank you for the 14. Foxy Elemental, thank you for the 6. And Tellar Fam, thank you for the Prime. Endplace, thank you for the Prime. Nico Ni for the 8 months. Dude, that's a lot. Thank you guys so much. Dolphin, thank you for the 2. Mr. Stupidus, thank you for the 4. And Chop KS, thank you for the Prime. I believe everyone else I already said. Okay, thank you guys so much. Appreciate that. All right, why don't we can take a look at the prize pool real quick, I suppose. If it is here anywhere, where is it? Here it is. Okay. Pop. We got, this is the prize pool. As you will notice, there is only prizing for top 16 and onwards. So we still have to win at least twice to get some prizes. However, top 16 gets the summer sleeves and the white sleeves, and the Challenger Cup sleeves, honestly, are pretty fire. And at the end of the day, this entire thing, the entire Challenger Cup thing is completely free, right? And so, like, you can't really complain about any of this. This is pretty nice. If you win any of that for like one evening worth of playing the game, that's pretty sick. So yeah, I mean, first place gets a gaming PC, second place gets a PS5, third place gets a Steam Deck. That's some nice stuff going on there. Of course, the Rescue Rabbit plushie and stuff like that is also nice. So no, I'm mostly, honestly, I don't really care about the prizes. I just care about, you know, the competitive environment for Master Duel. That's what I most care about, honestly, is that we have some tournaments going on for Master Duel, which I think is the most important thing for like a game slash esport, is having competition. So I'm very glad about this entire I'm really appreciative of any sort of, you know, competitive environment that they give us for Master Duel, especially this is only Europe, which is the sad part about it. The entire Challenger Cup thing is a European only thing, but no, it's better than nothing. All right, so the current timer is down to 16 minutes. I will just very quickly refill my water, and then I'll be right back, and we're going to be playing top 64. All right. Here we are. I guess we can use some of the time that we have until the next match to think about, or I'm going to use that time to think about what I'm going to bring, because I'm not going to say it, because otherwise my opponent will probably know. Because it's more than the time until the round starts is more than the delay. So this is, you'll see this before the round has started. But this is where like the preparing different decks and so on and so forth comes in, right? Because I'm assuming that my next opponent, or like, it's not a guarantee, but it's not unlikely that my next opponent is watching the stream, which there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. But that's why I have the delay on. Which means they know that game 1 I queued Pearly right now, which I'd have to think about what that means, right? It could mean, what does this mean for their deck choice, right? Does this change what they're bringing? Does this mean they're going to be playing hella kaijus and so on and so forth in the next game? This is why I have so many different decks prepared, right? This is why I have all of these. right? So I can switch it up between rounds, because I think that's one of the bigger deals in these kind of Challenger Cup formats, is to not be super predictable in general, right? Like that last game, for example, our opponent probably should not have played Altergeist again, because I queued Labyrinth knowing it was my best deck against Altergeist, and I queued Labyrinth knowing very well they would go second. So had they just switched to something more like Ignorant going first, you know, like a super powerful, like, I don't know, super focused on going first Kashtira deck, or super focused on going first Pearly deck, or super focused on going first Runic deck, or whatever else, right? I may have just lost that, right? That game too. It was because they were predictable, right? Because it was like my read on them was basically, if you're willing to bring Altergeist to a game where you don't even know you're gonna go first, you surely bring that deck when you know you get to begin, right? Because in my opinion, bringing Altergeist to game one, where there's a coin flip whether you go first, is like, I think that's madness. Like that deck is always losing when it goes second in the current Master Duel format. So I was like, why would you? Like, I was very surprised by that. But that's why I thought, like, if you're basically willing to do that in a 50-50 coin flip scenario, you're definitely bringing that when you get to go first. And they did do that. They did not try to, you know, second guess or anything. They just queued it again. Which made them exploitable ultimately, right? This is why we were able to beat them. Oh yeah, we still got like 10 minutes left on the round. This is going to be, I suppose, this is going to be the more quote-unquote awkward portion of the stream, because I don't have any content prepared for the middle of the rounds. I'm just planning to relax, think about what I'm gonna do next, so on and so forth. There's also one thing that's annoying me right now, because of everything here, it doesn't have a name, right? In order for me to have a better overview, I took a screenshot earlier, and I wrote all of the decks next to it, just so I'm not showing it in game, but I still know which deck is which, so I don't have to search for a specific deck forever. But my screenshot is shifted by 1, because in my screenshot it has the plus button here from the deck builder menu to create a new deck. So every deck is shifted by 1 to the left, which is annoying, but I guess I'll be able to deal with that. But yeah. But in case you're wondering, I don't have... This is not 18 different decks. Most of these are the same decks, actually, just slightly different cards for whether it's game 1 and I don't know who gets to go first, so I have a lot of, like, balanced lists, right? I have, like, you know, you already saw me playing Pearly, right? I have a Pearly list that I'm happy with playing in game 1 when it's a coin flip for going first or second. I also have a Pearly list for when it's game 2 and I get to decide whether I go first or not, and I also have a Pearly list for game 2 when my opponent gets to decide. And that the same is true for a lot of other decks too. The same is also true for Labyrinth and so on and so forth, right? And that's why it's so many different decks. But they're not different archetypes necessarily. There's just a bunch of... there's different archetypes in here. I have specific decks for only specific purposes. Some of those decks I'll probably never use in this tournament because they are for very specific scenarios. But yeah, that's the thing. With the Challenger Cup rule set, you do need to prepare everything in advance, because you are not allowed to create a deck in between. Like, I cannot just be like, okay, game 1 is over, they played Dark World, so let me quickly make a deck with 3 shifter, a 2 shifter, 3 Droll and Lockbird, and so on and so forth. You would have to have a deck like that prepared in advance. You need that before the tournament. You can't just make it up on the fly, which is why I decided to build just a bunch of slightly different versions, just in case I need one of those tech cards, right? I have like a bunch of different decks prepared, which was the plan. And then, funnily enough, round 1, I don't have a deck that's prepared for Altergeist with Secret Village. I just have to queue Labyrinth into it. I was not prepared for a trap deck that has Secret Village. I'm not gonna lie, I did not have anything for that. Gara Lore, thank you for the 11 months. Appreciate you so much. Ooh, and we got the mods creating predictions in chat. I like that. Okay, nice. Thank you. We can take a look at the bracket in the meantime of who else is in there. I don't know who else. I know Quantal is playing. But I guess that is one way to fill the break time. Brown Girls, thank you for the prime. Appreciate you as well. Okay, who do I recognize here? I'm not super familiar with a lot of the people from the Challenger Cup, so no offense. Drizzles, I know, has won in top 64 against Kelly Zamone. Lampy is in here. Okay, interesting. Lampy's here. I mean, Lampy's been grinding Challenger Cups. I've seen him stream those a lot. Quantal has won in top 128 as well. Quantal is quite far away from us in the bracket, so we can... The earliest we can play against Quantal is... What is this? Top 8? Top 8 would be when we could play against Quantal if we both win until then. Yo, Tupac is here, but Tupac has lost in top 128. That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't play that many Challenger Cups. Otherwise, some of those names would probably ring a bell. So my bad. Yeah. Flying Deutschmann, that's, I believe that's a sub, but they unfortunately lost in top 128. Unfortunate. But yeah, that's the bracket. That is the bracket. We have just about 6 minutes until timeout. The thing is, I am not sure if when timeout hits, we immediately get to continue. Most likely not, because, I mean, surely some matches are going to go into time and they have to work out the timeout situation and so on and so forth, right? Like, it's probably going to have small breaks in between the rounds as well. So I assume if the round goes until 7:45, we're probably going to start playing at like maybe 7:50 or something like that, roughly. So it's, yeah. And I still haven't decided what I want to queue blind into game 1. Let me consult my decks. I have this. I have that. That. I think we can go for a little bit of a gambit in the first game of the second match. I think we can attempt a little bit of a gambit. I'll see. I'll think about it. I have some gambits prepared in the lineup for situations like this one. I have some gambit potential in the lineup that could also backfire, of course, but you know how it is. Basically, one thing I'm afraid of when just playing Pearly over and over and over again is eventually people just playing stuff like Herald of the Abyss with Thrust in their main decks, which is a realistic possibility. The question is, what do you do to prevent that shit? Because it's not like if I just queue Cash Tira going first, that's much better against that, right? It's still like, you know, Thrust is still gonna friggin' destroy you in that deck. So, yeah. I think they should make tournament like that for Worlds qualifiers. I mean, I honestly think tournaments are always better than just open dueling, which is what the current qualification system is. Well, not always, because it also does depend a little bit on the structure of the tournament, because I do think a single elimination tournament also has a single elimination tournament also has a lot of variance to it, right? Like if everything comes down for Worlds qualifiers for one single tournament like this one, and you lose in top 128, or you get a bad matchup in top 128 or whatever, or like at some point, you know, it's like it's also a lot of variance. So I don't know if it's necessarily better than being able to grind for like 3 days. Of course, the 3-day grind is a lot unhealthier. I'll give you that. I will give you that. But I guess because the grind is more games, it has less variance in that sense, which is also worth something. That is also worth something. All right, what's the timer situation? 1 minute and 50 seconds until timeout. 1 minute and 50 seconds until timeout. And then we jump into top 64 as fast as possible, I hope. Darkness, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Appreciate that. Streaming at another time, as usual, means we're getting a lot of new subscriptions. That means a lot to me. Welcome, everybody. The new subs to the channel. You know who you are. Appreciate you guys. Welcome, welcome. Warm-up time. I could have played a game of Card Guesser in between rounds. That is true. I could have done that. We had enough time for that. But now we don't anymore. My bad. That is the problem with the delay. I saw that suggestion way too late. I didn't think of that. We could have done that, yeah. But I mean, some time to relax is also worth something between rounds. That's all right. If we win another quick one, we can do that though. Yeah. All right, it is time on the round. It is time on the round. They just made the announcement. So I'm going to wait for, let me see the bracket. Is everyone finished? No, there still are matches. Let me refresh. I don't know if it automatically updates. It probably does. We have one here that isn't finished. We have one here that isn't finished. We have one here that isn't finished. One here that... Okay, we have a couple timeout matches, as you would expect with 128 players. Okay, yeah, we need to wait for the other matches to finish, and then we start top 64. Okay. It can't be enforced anyways. You don't have to submit decks in advance. You are right. The whole changing decks, but you have to build all the decks in advance is something they cannot possibly enforce because people don't submit deck lists beforehand. Of course, I still like to just play by the rules and don't change my decks in between. So I just prepared all the decks in advance. I think there's like no real downside to that. Just prepare your decks properly, and then you don't have an issue, right? You just don't have any problems. Is always the easier way to go about it. Because even if they can't check it, the rules are the rules for a reason, you know? And I am waiting for the announcement that we can start the next round, but so far that has not happened yet. Which is the site I'm also playing and want to see. The bracket? The bracket is in the Discord server. There's a channel called Bracket where you can find it. There's a channel called Bracket. It's not that hard to find. It is literally called Bracket. So yeah, if you're in the tournament, you should be in the tournament Discord server, and there's a channel called Bracket. All right, the results are trickling in the Discord server, at least. Yeah, there's not that many more missing. I guess they might have 1 or 2 timeout disputes, but we have 1 missing here. And we have 1 missing here. No, they just updated this one. This one is missing still. That's the only one missing. That's the only one missing, and then we get to do that. Okay. I have 2 decks in mind right now that I could queue up for the first game of top 64 reasonably. 2 decks that I'm considering. I guess I'll decide in a bit when it starts which one I want to bring. One of them, they're both kind of risky. One of them is less risky than the other. But the payoff, the other one is high risk, high reward, basically. The question is, do I want to go for that? I guess they both are high risk, high reward in some sense. I'll decide in a second when we actually start. Okay, there's been an announcement. Next round will start at 55. Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, we have 5 more minutes. God damn it. 5 more minutes. Yeah, every result is here. Yeah, every result is here, but they still give us a 5-minute break. I guess that's fair for the people that just finished. I guess that's all right. And we've been waiting for 20 minutes. We can wait for 5 more. It's not the end of the world. Is not the end of the world. Tearlaman's strongest? I have my doubts that we're gonna see much of Tearlaman's today, honestly. I have my doubts. I don't think the deck is dead in Master Duel. I don't think it provides much for competitive tournaments, though. I don't think it has many edges in the format right now. Like, it does not do well into a Rysard. I don't think it has a great Pearly matchup either. It can be an okay ladder deck, but I don't expect it to do well in this tournament, particularly. Okay, I think I need to swap. I think I need to swap the channel. Oh, but I shouldn't. I should not leak the code. Let me leave the room. Let me enter a room. Yeah, okay. I'm not a leaker. The question is, which table do we go? They didn't say that yet. Oh. Okay, no, that was the wrong... Okay, no, they just sent a different room code. Okay, so... Leave that room. Make sure not to leak. Make sure not to leak. Enter here. Now I can show. What table do I have to go? I'm at table 13. Table 13, here we are. And now we're gonna have to choose a deck. All right. Change decks. What do I want to do? I believe it's this. I believe I want to do this. I think I want to do this. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. It's a little bit of a gambit, but I think it's a little risky. But we'll run it. And we start in a minute. All right. Thank you for the 4 months. Cards and coffee, TCG. Appreciate you. All right. It should turn 55 any second now. Not yet, though. Now it's 55. There's the announcement. We begin. That's another coin flip lost. That is unfortunate because I did queue Labyrinth. Because in case I did win the coin flip, oh, this hand is awful actually. Well, I mean, it's good going second, but it's awful at the same time because it doesn't play. So we're gonna wait and see. It might stop my opponent from playing though, so that is worth something. Mod check. Hello, hello. What is going on? I'm checking the Discord. They're not sending any messages. My internet is working. They are... Okay. Liverlusk. Okay. I like gammaing this. It turns off imperm. But this is a very strong extender for them. They have to have another level 1 winged beast in hand and 2 other cards. Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial will get them probably to Keras. Which I could Ash. They have 1 level 1 in hand. I could also Ash the Nerval. Don't know if that has a downside to it. I can't think of a downside of letting them do that. They'll set up their graveyard a little bit more. Okay. And this foolish is any Tri-Brig card, that's fine. Nerval, we'll Ash the Nerval. They have a level 1 winged beast. No called by. This is a pass and probably a win if I draw a play. Most likely. Unless they already have Keras, yeah. That's crazy. Okay. Stovey. We're gonna have to leave this on the board, which is slightly scary. Big welcome gives me back the Stovey Torby, which is probably what I need to do. I'm not gonna shotgun anything. If this card is special, I can't target whatever they summon, but that's... I can't do anything about that. Starling in attack position will threaten Zeus, and I cannot do anything about it. However, I do think I will Ash it. Detaching here also means that it's going to be a 3 material Zeus only, which I can just imperm. I'm hoping they just go battle phase here. Which I believe is the most likely play. Nice. No Ash. Two options. Summoning Lady, bouncing it, bringing back Stovey Torby. Then summon out the Lady with the plan of imperming the Zeus. What is the risk of that? What is the risk of that? The Zeus is going to have 3 materials, can't chain it twice. Slightly safer is to go Ariana in my hand. But this is the one that immediately wins the game if it works. What stops this from happening? A Book of Moon would be a disaster. Which is something they could have in their hand, but they would have to have just drawn it. I'll go for the safe Ariana. I'm a coward. Oh. That changes things. Slightly. Not just like that. I did not know. Okay, that's my bad. But that actually makes my play better. That would have made the Lady a disastrous play, because if I summon Lady here and they have a double Zeus opportunity, I do just lose. Okay. That was unintentionally the right play then. That was unintentionally the right play that I have an Ariana now. Back up here. They should use the Zeus here. If not, that's a huge mistake. If they let me go next turn, imperm the Zeus, I think that's a big mistake. We'll see though. It's still hard. This Zeus makes it tough. And any Tri-Brigade is very much insane follow-up for them. Big welcome. They can add here. And I did Ash, so I think okay, I chain Stovey Torby. Then I chain Imperm onto the Zeus, which makes it so they cannot blow up whatever I set this turn. And then next turn I get to activate my thing. That has to be what I do. Because if I let them get thrust talents here, that's a problem. Chaining. There's no way you chain here. I have to imperm the Zeus now. Actually, if I don't imperm it, They would have to Zeus their own set card, but I have nothing next turn. Okay, so I need to get this. Technically, it should have been in this column, because they can now set an imperm in the same column, but I mean, they can't use the imperm right now, so that's fine. It's winnable, but definitely not over yet. They set a bird call. All right. Pass. Please. Pass. I have to shotgun this, because if I don't, they can just Zeus immediately. We summon this. If I bounce the Zeus now, I mean, they're forced to Zeus now, right? Because otherwise I can reset. I should wait and let them make a mistake. They have to Zeus this. If they don't Zeus this, they instantly lose. No shot. This welcome cannot reset itself this turn. I can grab an imperm, but I already have one. It's just welcome. Or eradicator. Welcome, chain big welcome, target Zeus. They can decide to not chain Zeus, but then they die. So they have to chain Zeus now, destroy their own. I pass on Welcome Lab, Imperm, Stovey Torby. Stovey Torby, I can grab the field spell actually if I want to. You have to chain it. You cannot save your bird call. There's no way. Yeah. Because otherwise, if you just let it bounce, then I keep Lovely and I get to destroy your bird call or card in hand. So sends their own. This bounces this. I still that's why they needed to do it in draw phase, because I get to keep this welcome now. It's just here. It's just free. It is the freest of real estate. Stovey Torby triggers as well. And I do have two options now. I can just pass with Imperm and hope that they can't play through it. Or I go Stovey Torby to set Big Welcome or the field spell. If I set the field spell, I have a pop with this and crazy follow-up, so I have to bet that they can't play through one pop. If I set Big Welcome, I have to Big Welcome, but I can't get this one. I'd have to welcome first. Welcome first, summon Ariana. Ariana gets Lady. Summon Lady. Big summon. I mean, I'm activating it. I'm activating it, and I think it has to be big. Not the field spell. Because the field spell is good, but if they top deck an Ash, I lose. And I don't shotgun anything. End phase. Oh, okay. Oh wait, this can't be activated. Right, my bad. Unless I have a fee. Oh, this was a mistake actually. Oh, I was very lucky they didn't top deck there. Oh, I forgot that for a second. Oh, damn. But I couldn't do okay, I couldn't do anything about that. That meant I should have kept the Stovey actually. I had to keep the Stovey around. Yeah. The Stovey needed to stay. It needed to be Stovey plus Imperm. Okay, my bad. Thankfully we didn't get punished. Okay. Oof. That should be game. But that was not... I would not call that one deserved, to be honest with you. I'll just pick Chandelier, because normal summon Chandelier's game. Okay. Oof. Okay. Oof. All right. Okay. We need to prepare. They're playing a crazy going first strategy. I honestly just want to play something with the most amount of hand traps that I have. What would that be? What do I have? I have this. I also have this. Both of these look nice. Here. They both look interessante. Let me think. Tri-Brigade Lyrillus. Are they gonna just go first again? If they do, I think I want this. I think I'm taking it. I did not expect to play this deck that much. But here we are. They do want to go first, and here we are. We need to go second here. Okay. Not the greatest hand, not the worst hand. It's alright though, honestly. It depends on what deck they play. It's the same sleeves and everything, so I'm assuming it's the same deck. Our hand is worse than last game. But it does have starters at least. It is Bird Call. I'm ashing Bird Call. Thank you. This deck is very scary when it goes first and you don't have Maxi, which I haven't done once yet. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm guessing this is a loss, honestly. I am guessing it's a loss. But we'll have to find out. It's not completely unwinnable, but it's not looking very good here. Maybe the delay of the Chandelier makes them think it's a maxi, which might change the way that they play. Like, if it's just normal summon Tri-Brigade combo, maybe we can do something about it. It's a Keras, though. That is probably better than... something might also come down to the whether they play Revolt or not. And I don't know this version very much. I'm assuming they might not play Revolt. They go Shurake here. I'm assuming they want to go into Lyrillus combo still. They just want to like link it off and search. The thing is, the reason why I picked this deck is because it genuinely is one of my decks with the most hand traps. Like the list that I now have had like nibs and everything in it, nibs and gammas and so on and so forth. So I figured it was my best shot at going second. Like if I had a nib here, it'd be crazy. But that's the thing. I don't think any other deck that I had was going to be more consistent into this, right? This list had Maxi, Nib, Gamma, Imperm, Ash, and all that good stuff, right? And we just didn't pick up any of it, which is fine. It happens. Even Lady Labyrinth would have been fine here because we have Big Welcome plus Chandelier, so we could have used Big Welcome to bounce, which may have ended their turn. But we just don't have any of that. Simorg. Yeah. I'm assuming that's not it. No. Special Lyrillus from hand. Okay, no hand traps. Oh no, from grave or hand. Okay. What is that? Ensemble? Like fat ensemble or what? No, recital. Okay. Man, one Maxi, one Nib, one Gamma. Really would have sealed this game. That's fine. I'm thinking about just scooping it and going into the next game because we have like 20 minutes left and I don't really want it to go to time. I think I will do that. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll scoop it. I don't think we can win this one. I just don't want to have it go into time. All right, let me see. Let me see what we play going first now. We have a couple strong options. We could also blind second. I have some blind second decks ready. I don't think they're gonna go with that deck again because they assume I'll go first. So they have to know that that's a bad idea, right? They have to understand that. There's no way they're gonna go with that again. What decks could they have for going second? Like Mikanko or shit like that? I don't know if people actually queue like dedicated blind second decks. I'm queuing this. I'm queuing this. If we're losing on this deck, then so be it. All right, we're gonna go first. You guys know how I get. No second runic is a problem because it means we have to go charge warrior here. It's slightly suboptimal. If they know what's going on, this also tells them I don't have another runic. I'm considering setting Sacred Tree and popping it with Baron. I think I do that. All trees are in the graveyard. Which is unfortunate, the fact that we drew the third tree instead of drawing a freaking runic. That's the one thing that scares me right now. Is that I don't have another runic. The same deck? Is it? Really? Okay. End phase. Okay. One runic ends it. We do not tag out Baron. No. We can revive Mole Cricket. Mill 2 gives us more summons. And then later on we can make a Nat Beast if we want to. Mill 2 instead. Well, we milled. Oh my god, we are actually criminals. We are actually war criminals. That is, oh my, I feel bad about that. Um, it is, criminal is the one word I have. The one word I have for this is criminal. This is a criminal offense. Ooh. Okay. Interesting. I mean, they probably have to send 3 cards, though. They can send the Thrust, one more. That's somewhat scary at the same time. I doubt that that's going to be enough to play. Honestly, if anything, deck out would be a win condition here, but 21 cards against Ash Nib seems tough. It does seem tough. But that is one way to do it. That is one way to do this. That is probably the best card to have here. But they do need to send at least one more card from hand. Because they definitely need to negate Sunflower, Baron, and Nat Beast. What did I mill? I milled a Runic, which is good for me. I milled one Runic. Which means I get to draw 2 off of this fountain. That's the thing, right? This thrust adds, and then I get to Dispelling Pit, discard 1 more from their hand, which they have no control over as well. Keras from hand, thrust from field. I can't respond. That is a good freaking droplet. That is the one saving grace for them right now. Thrust gets to add talents, most likely, if I had to guess. Bird Call. Do I want to summon out my last Camellia? No. I think deck out is their only win condition, so I'm not gonna thin my deck further. Actually, time is a win condition for them. There's only 5 minutes left. And we're probably taking damage here. I hope they don't slow play for that. That'd be kind of cringe. This is negated. Why is their hand a custom hand? Can someone tell me that real quick? If I use Sunflower Tribute Nat Beasts, I can theoretically in a second activate this to summon out I can bring back Sunflower like this. There's only 2 minutes left. I think I lose in time here if they just attack the Baron, which is unfortunate. There's 40 seconds left. Okay, they were a very good sport about it. They were a very good sport about it. Because they could have stalled me out of it. They could have stalled me out of it. That was very honorable of them. I think they thought I couldn't do damage. But that I respect that. I do respect that. It wasn't even like outrageous for them to. It was not even outrageous for them to just. It was like 10 seconds they needed to waste, right? All they needed to do was activate Bird Call, but they didn't. I respect that, dude. I respect that. Thank you for not doing that. I guess that was that was a game that was 100% won. It would have been kind of weird, champ, to lose that way, but god damn, dude. God damn. Woof. Okay. Maybe I should have summoned everything in defense. Unironically. If I summon everything in defense, I don't think they have a single win condition. That I honestly maybe even deserve to lose that one for that. Maybe I deserve to lose that one for that reason, but they were too much of a good sport to do that. All right. The round is over. I don't know exactly when we start playing. Let me quickly. Oof. That was a sweat. Okay. Let me join the room. Bob. I have joined the room. Let me swap decks. What are we game one? What are we game one-ing this time? What is our game one option this time around? What are we game one running here? I have no idea what our opponent was running the previous rounds. I did not have any time to check any of the streams or whatever. Let's do this. let's do this. The next round starts in 5 minutes exactly. The next round starts in 5 minutes exactly. We are sitting at the table already for top 32. And I will just very quickly head to the toilet, and then I'll be right back. Also, by the way, sorry about if there's ever inconvenient ad timing. The problem is, I think if I manually start an ad right now because there's a break, I think it runs for you while the game is playing, which is awful. So I can't really time the ads for them to be in the downtime or whatever. It's unfortunate with the delay and everything. I can not really do that because I would have to start an ad while I'm playing. For when 10 minutes ago there was a break, and when I'm playing, I'm focusing on the game. So it's unfortunate if there's ever an ad during the game. I'm sorry. Of course, you know, subscribing removes those ads completely, but I'm just saying. Anyways, I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, 2 minutes until the round starts. Oh, God. So always one of the harder parts of playing tournaments is when something really exciting happens like that, or like a really close round and you even go to time and everything and you have to start playing right away. That is one of the harder things, but I think we'll be okay. I did 100% expect to just lose in time there for them to just like spend 10 more seconds activating bird call, but I guess they just didn't expect the Scarlight. I mean, I didn't have a battle phase. I think they were just like, yeah, I don't need to stall 10 seconds. I can just pass. I can just pass and take my win that way without any, you know, stalling accusations or whatever, you know. It wouldn't even have been stalling, just to be clear. But I guess that was their thought process. Just pass. They don't have a battle phase. What's going to happen? And then the Scarlight hit him. The Scarlight hit him out of nowhere. All right, we have a minute until it begins. And it should begin right now because it is 47. I'm just waiting for the official announcement because they always do an announcement. And okay, timer starts. All right, let's begin. Timer has started and top 32, here we go. We finally do win at the... We do win a flip. Isn't that just great? not the greatest hand, but not awful. Maxi. 57 cards. Couldn't even chain one of those because both of them were non, like I needed a card on the field for them. But that's fine. Rika Petal. Let me quickly check. Tribute a plant monster. I think they can do that if I book it. I'm pretty sure they can do that if I book it. However, I still think that's worth it. I'm just going to book it. This is showing them a Book of Moon instead of the Karma Cannon. I just want to keep the Karma Cannon because I think it's the more valuable card. They have Rika Glamour. They can tribute this thing to add 2 now. But that does not make them play yet. Right, tributing this. I mean, they can just add Muda, and that's probably what the most likely play is they're going to go for. But that's not too bad. They do tribute. Okay. The thing is, if they add Snowdrop here, they can't... no, tier Snowdrop to level 8, right? If they add this one, they can't tribute for it. They can add... If they have Princess too, I guess. This is... Tribute a plant monster as well. This is so weird. If I had Daruma here, they can't add this Colosseum. But they can still tribute the Borea for the Snowdrop. They tribute the Borea and summon one other. I'll Karma Cannon here. They have something. What do they have? Is it another? There's no way you have another freaking Maxi, no? Set. Pass. Phenomenal. Okay. So this. Looking good. Question number 1. How much defense is Borea? Very fat, I believe. Very fat. I don't really see a reason not to go for Zeus, though. Although, I mean... Let me rank up. into happy. Let's see. No response. If it's a book, I am somewhat in trouble, but I think I'll risk it. Yep. That wasted the battle phase, which is unfortunate. This one needs to hit, but I can no longer rank up with this. What else can I even get? A memory spell doesn't do anything. Leap doesn't do anything. Target a face-up monster. Unfortunate. Oh, that Book of Moon was nasty. Ooh, pretty memories big. Has to be that. Yeah. Okay. Don't need tactics. Also don't need this, technically, but it's good to have. And I do want this. I do not want to deal with that. What can I summon? Oh, Downard. I don't want Downard. Pedal is fine. I could have left the Borea, but the problem is this forever? Negate its effects? No. This is a very dangerous position. Like, it's not unlikely that they just punish this super hard here. But I don't want him to have Mudan. Yeah. I mean, they're only playing 57 cards, right? They have to have these kind of cards eventually. Keck. Rika is a joke, man. Painful decision. That's interesting because I do get an ad from that. No? Wait, I don't? Oh yeah, I do. Um. Okay. I mean, they are maybe able to set up in main phase 2, possibly. I don't know exactly if they are able to, but I mean, we will have quite the hand. Street? No. Back up my friend? Do they have a way to remove my friend Pearly? I don't think they do. Unless I'm missing something super obvious, I think this card is gonna stay. Which I'm just gonna grab a pretty memory. Main phase 2. Okay. This has to be a dance spion, right? It's just a dance spion line? Yeah. Alright, 45 cards left in the deck. Dance spion, take the wheel. Okay, it's just one, but it's a lone fire. That's full combo, right? That's full combo because they contribute the dance spion to get empty main monsters and empty extra monster zone. I'm pretty sure that's the only card that does that. That's the only hit out of the 45 card deck that does that. I love this game. I'm pretty sure they messed up. I'm pretty sure they needed the Jasmine to point to the vanilla, because now they can't make another Dryas under the Jasmine, but maybe I'm wrong. They have to do this first now. Tribute this. I mean, the combo is scuffed anyways, because their extra deck is already somewhat depleted. I am not sure how, like, I wouldn't know how to do this combo perfectly here. But they can definitely still set up pretty much everything. Like, they can con set Sheet if they want to. They can con set Glamour and Tribute My Beauty if they want to. It's just a matter of, will I be able to play through it, whatever they end on? I'm not sure. Like, I genuinely don't know what they're gonna end on, and if I can break it. Probably not, though. Which is fucked up. And I'm pretty sure only Lone Fire does this. Like, I don't think anything else that they hit gets them this much this easily. Like, whatever else, I'm pretty sure whatever else they hit off of dance, if they whiff, they lose immediately. But if they hit anything that isn't Lone Fire, I'm pretty sure they just don't do anything. Like, it just doesn't do anything if it's not specifically Lone Fire. Unless it's 2 plants, but no. Just a typical planned high roll. It's somewhat on me though. I don't think I should have played into the book. I think I could have played this safer. I didn't need to go for a Zeus. I should have just gone my friend, grab the field spell, and play in main phase 1, and don't Zeus them, but just make like a very big Noir. Which, so at the end of the day, I can't blame this one on bad luck. I'm pretty sure this one is, or was winnable. Now it's not winnable anymore, I don't think. They can still tribute Strenna for Mudan. The set is most likely Sheet, honestly. It's probably Sheet. Yeah. Dude, off of one vanilla that they only had because they hit Lone Fire off of Dance Beyond, dude. This deck is such a freaking joke. So everything level 8, and they're also gonna have Snowdrop. Teardrop, I mean. Cool. Oh, this should be an attack. Okay. Oh, it's such a frustrating deck to play against, man. For 57 fucking cards, man. Okay. It's again 57 cards. The same deck. I think they have Ash, so I'm gonna go with Camellia. It's the safer play into Ash Blossom. I think they were trying to save Ash for Mole Cricket. The problem is, there's 15 minutes left in the round because of that freaking game one. Oh, Imperm. Okay, that's... In that case, Mole Cricket was better, but it's okay. That does not really matter, especially since we already have Blessing. That's kind of a nothing burger for them. There's 15 minutes left. Even if I win this game, there's a chance I just get Rika comboed in game 3 and they gain life points and I lose to it. It's not unrealistic, sadly, but there's nothing I can do about it at this point. I'm going to summon. I'm going to use Slumber to summon because I think Destruction is pretty crucial for Konkon. That way I don't have to use my Baron Negate on Konkon. They might have Ash too, which actually doesn't do much here. Which in 57 cards you would expect them to open 2 hand traps. They have another response. It's just they have another hand trap, which is just insane. Honestly, I almost want to go Chengying, but I have to go Baron. In case of a Kaiju, it doesn't matter anyways. Come on, dude. How is this possible, man? What do they add though? The thing is, Duster does it. Duster will do it. Rika Glamour. Okay. Okay, that's fine. We win this game. There's 8 minutes left on the timer. I'm gonna get Rika comboed in game 3. They're gonna gain life points. I'm not entirely sure why we're still playing. Probably because they do want to win the 3rd game with the Rika combo in time. Alright, well. They want to go first. And that's it. That's over. 57 cards, Lokai Ash, dude. I mean, actually, like, time doesn't really matter here because I'm losing this without time as well. It just goes to show this, the freaking Rika plant deck, and I might be salty right now, but the freaking Rika plant deck has all the things in one deck that I hate about Yu-Gi-Oh decks. Literally every single thing. But let's not talk about it too much. It's whatever. We tried our best. The reason I queued the Runic deck, which is normally not the best deck going second, it doesn't have the most hand traps, but the problem is most hand traps don't matter here, because most of my decks don't have a way to gain life going second. Like the Labyrinth deck, for example. The most hand traps are in Labyrinth, but what's the point of playing Labyrinth and then drawing like a Nibiru, nibbing them at some point, and then they pass and I just can't do damage? Because at the point where I can nib them, they already gained life points. That's why I didn't queue something with more hand traps. Like, this deck has Ash, Maxi, and Nib, so 9 hand traps. So I figured that was the best chance for me to get something. And in the case that I hand trap them and they have to pass, this deck has a way to gain life, which is the Scarlight, right? That's why I did this deck specifically. None of my other decks have any way to gain life points. I didn't prepare any. Maybe I should have prepared a deck with Dogwood for this shit. But I once again did not do that. I did not prepare a deck with Spooky Dogwood, so... Yeah, had I had that, we probably had a win condition here. Like, if I have a Dogwood at some point, I can maybe win, but I do not have a deck with that. What does the timer say? Ooh, 20 seconds. Cool. Well, I don't think I need to say anything about that. I don't think we need to talk about it for too much because I'm just gonna be salty and I don't really want to be that guy. Yeah, it's whatever. We tried. We got a mega high rolled out of it, but that is part of the game. That happens. I overall still enjoyed this stream. I hope you did too. It was a cool experience. I like the Challenger Cup finals kind of system. It's unfortunate we lost one round before prizing as well. So we don't get anything for this, but it do be like that. Yeah, I mean, look, just very briefly, in case you were wondering, the decks I had prepared, I had a Kashtira deck, which I didn't like that much, but it was technically there. This was my Pearly list for game 1 when I didn't know whether I was going to go first or second, so it has some amount of hand traps. It has a Thrust package with Talents for Kashtira and Herald of the Abyss for the mirror match. And it has a Daruma Karma Cannon for when you go first and you get max seed, like what happened in the one game against the Rika. The rest is standard Pearly. So maxing out on the Pearly cards, and then you only have 2 slots left. I went with Pokemoon, which is fine. So that was my Pearly list for game 1. Then I had this was a lab deck for game 1, because I thought Karma Cannon was pretty good game 1 against Pearly and Cash. Didn't face a single Pearly and Cash, which is funny, but I guess we just had the Rogue Andes, but it's fine. This was lab for game 1. I have different lab variations already as well. Then I have... What is this? This is a blind second Kashtira, which I think was an interesting option because, of course, everyone... When you lose game 1, everyone expects you to go first. So I thought, like, if... depending on what deck they would play, I could just go blind second. Didn't happen in the games that we played, simply because it wasn't a good idea against the decks that we faced. Like, it's not a good idea to go blind second against Lyrilusk, Tri-Brigade, Altergeist, or Rika, right? That's why this didn't come to play at all. But it was there. We had a blind second Pearly as well, which I still played one of Destructive Daruma Karma Cannon because I was afraid of when I go second and I get max seed, and I can't kill them, I can thrust, like, and I can maybe, like, you know, clear the board a little bit and then set a Karma Cannon or something like that. Or, in case imagine a scenario where I win a game and I expect my opponent to go first, so I queue blind second Pearly, but then my opponent makes me go first because they do the same kind of thing. Having one Karma Cannon for that is interesting. I had a Runic Sprite deck, which I just built because I'm me, right? And I think it's I think this is worse than Runic Naturia, but I just built it because I like building Runic decks. And I wanted one deck with Evenly. This is my only deck with Evenly, like Thrust Evenly. So, and I wanted one deck with Evenly, so that was that. I have... This was my game 1 Naturia Runic. If we flip a coin for who goes first. Once again, you notice that for most of the game 1 decks where I don't know if I can go first or second, I decided to play Thrust, Talents, Karma Cannon, and Herald of the Abyss. The rest is just standard Naturia Runic. This one is slightly bigger on non-engine, so it only gets to play, I believe, 15 Runic Quick Plays, but it's fine. Where was I? Was this one? This was Labyrinth for when I know I can go first, right? Triple Solemn. Like, when I lose a game, I can go first with Lord of the Heavenly Prison called by Solemn Judgment Labyrinth. That was the idea, but, you know. We have... that's the same one, but it has D-Barrier, in case I saw someone play Pearly or something. The other one didn't have D-Barrier. This one had D-Barrier. Then I have a Pearly deck with Cosmics. I didn't really plan on using this, but just in case I really wanted Cosmics. Then this is the Naturia Runic deck that we just played. This is basically a version where the non-engine is Nib. For me, the idea was this was the one I wanted to queue going first into Kashtira. That's why it's also only 2 ashes because of Cash. Yeah. Yeah, maybe there's another version with 3 ashes, I believe. I'm not sure. Maybe I queued that one right now. I'm not sure. Then this is the hand trap heavy labyrinth deck with nibs for like Cash Tira and so on and so forth. This is the one that we queued into the Tri-Brigade. No, did we? No. Yeah, this is the one of the we queued some labyrinth with nib, I think, into the Liralusk at some point. I don't remember exactly. This is Pearly with nib for the Cash Tira matchup. When you know you can go first. All kinds of decks, right? You get the gist, right? You get the idea. This is a Cash Tira deck just for the mirror match. With, you know, talents, enemy, eclipse, lands, all the good stuff. Going second. You go blind second in the Cash Tira mirror. That's why it's triple thrust, triple talents, so on and so forth. We have... This is a Pearly deck for when you know you can go first against Cash Tira. So you can just play triple Karma Cannon, triple Nib. And there's no way they break your board, pretty much. You just set up some draws with Sleepy. You draw into Nib. They can't break it. You have a Daruma Cannon, they cry. Going first into a Cash Tira player, this is really strong. Most of these decks don't apply to ladder bait, by the way. Most of these decks are... Some of the ones I showed earlier where that I wanted to queue in game 1 when I don't know who's going to go first or second, those builds you can just take and play in ranked, by the way. These ones I don't recommend for ranked because they are specifically thought for one matchup. Like this one is for Labyrinth. This is a Naturia Runic list to counter Labyrinth, so we have the 6 cards to counter Big Welcome. And then just Runics to beat the normal Labyrinth stuff. Where were we? I keep forgetting. Was this the one that I just showed? No, I already showed this one. I showed this one. I had a Lab deck for the mirror match as well, you know, with triple Bell, triple Lady Labyrinth. This is insane in the mirror match. Didn't want to queue this into anything else because it doesn't have skill drain, doesn't have deep barrier, so on and so forth, but it's insane in the mirror. I just wanted some variety in terms of the matchups and the options that I had. And then I had a banger of a deck. This deck can pretty much never lose to Labyrinth or Runic Stun because it has 3 Ash, 3 Bell, 3 Cosmic, and it's just Runic Sprite. I was never going to queue this deck unless there was a Labyrinth Andy or a Runic Stun Andy. Then this deck just demolishes them. And that was all the decks that I had prepared. Quite a few, 18 different decks. As well as I theoretically could have queued my Dragon Link if there was a tier limit duelist. I had my World's Dragon Link list still ready. Yeah. Boy, it is what it is. It's unfortunate. We lost in top 32. It was a good attempt though. I had fun. It is always of course bittersweet. I freaking hate plants, but you guys know that. So yeah. I guess it is what it is. Let's open 1 pack for good luck. Let's open 1 pack. Today's not our day. Yeah. Honestly, maybe an oversight on my part. I did not realize how fast 45 minutes passed at Master Duel. Probably should have prepared. It would feel so scummy though to prepare like some different decks with like Dogwood or some shit like that. Maybe I should have done it though, man. Maybe I should have done it. But I didn't expect it. That's the thing. I did think about time this time around. That's why I added the Scarlight back into all of my Naturia Runic decks. Now I have to find the Naturia Runic deck. God damn it. Here. All of my Naturia Runic decks had the Scarlight again, right? If you've been noticing on stream, I wasn't playing this card anymore. For ranked, I was just playing the Harpy Lady, and I still think the Harpy Lady is better in ranked. But because the Challenger Cup uses regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Time rules, basically, I decided to play this one instead, and I thought that was going to be enough. I didn't expect... basically, the reason why I thought this was enough is because all of the meta decks in Master Duel right now, don't have a way to gain life points. And I'm saying all of the meta decks, knowing well aware that I just got life gained by Rika. Rika is not a meta deck in Master Duel. 57 card Rika is not a good deck, okay? Only because we lost to it does not make it a good or consistent strategy, okay? I did not expect any Rikas. I thought the only decks that were really top contenders were like Lab, Pearly, and Kashtira, and all of those decks don't really have a way to gain life. So in theory, it's enough to just have the Naturia Runic deck. Even if time is called, we have the same life points. I still get another turn. It's sudden death. I Scarlight. I win. Right? That was the idea. So I actually don't feel bad about this. The more I think about it, honestly, I don't think Rika was something you should have expected, because Rika is not a very good deck in Master Duel. It's just, I don't know why it keeps happening. The universe just hates me, but it is what it is. We finished this one in top 32. Sorry for the rant. Good luck for everyone else still remaining in the tournament. I hope you enjoy the rest of the coverage. I know Farfa is streaming it. I would send you guys over to Farfa. However, my problem is I have no idea how a raid works when I am on a delay. Because I think if I click raid right now, I think you get sent over there immediately and you miss all the deck profiles. So I'm just gonna skip the raid for today because I don't know how it works with the delay. Instead, I'm just gonna stop streaming, and if you want to keep watching the Challenger Cup, just head on over to Farfa's stream and you can enjoy the coverage or whatever. There's also some other streamers streaming it in different languages, so if you're looking for non-English, you can also check those out. Until then, I hope you still enjoyed the stream. I hope you enjoyed the high-level gameplay. I am happy with how I played overall. I think it was a good gameplay. You saw a couple different decks too. I'm happy about that as well. Some strategy into each and every round. I think it was a fun experience still. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Thank you for all the follows, all the subs. Thank you everyone for watching. And we will be back on Monday most likely. So see you all on Monday. And don't forget to, follow the channel if you are not followed already. Anyways, bye-bye everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day.